Post in his little in his domain in Tiny Town where he'd be permanent resident 22 years for 3600 shift. That's 3600 day shift of Squirrely's fat cousins would rather. Yeah, we mentioned that it was a quick tidbit under show one season one the pilot. There was the thousand replacement incumbent employees at the U.S. Navy, all imported from the Middle East that could hardly speak English, but were hardcore Middle Eastern coalition soldiers, here for our protection, supposedly during the cold times. The cold times. Or that's not really talking about. That was 1,000. Yeah, well, then there's the put it together yourself manually manufacturing plant laborers, as well. Also from, the coalition overseas, to the USA's right, over the Atlantic on the other side. Saudi Arabia was the biggest one, but there was Afghanistan, Iraq, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, what do you mean it's not the biggest? I mean, if you look at it at the map, it's actually a very large place. And so you put it together manual labor with another thousand replacement incumbent employees. They can hardly speak English, but they're here building torpedoes, ICBMs, putting uranium into this, plutonium into that, yeah. And then the science programming section, where it's all digielectrics, micro lightning scientists, another thousand, yeah. So and that's 3,000 area in size and they're all replacement incumbents imported, could hardly speak English. Pro bombing of Manhattan Towers, pro bombing of the Pentagon, here for to claim the USA as New Mecca was the moral Squirrely's fast cousins would rather. And anyway, mine, because being a man is a competitive sport, man, especially when it's fame, like Bowie's not around, but I think he might agree. Um, where was I? Says the Midnight Rider was the last advertisement of the chapter beforehand. I went through it 10 years in my childhood bedroom after a dozen names, and did they kiss and tell nut after my age is 12 to 18, man? And what am I going to do about the flat I'm in currently? I mentioned several times that I was alluding to the fact that I'd really like to have a servicewoman share my flat with me here. The half trailer, the apartment, a mobile home, stuck with the blues, man, for another 150 days of meds. But that's it. We're starting off as a 10 to 15-year estimate recovery off your feet, doctor's orders. I mean, do what you can to help out. Don't get evicted by eminent domain by any means. But 10 to 15 years, at start, and then, or, with a 90% of the chance of death through sleep every day of his life for the first, few hundred, there's only 150 days left now, and I'm sure I spent what, $45,000 in my own accord, maybe $35,000 in 10 years in my own accord. Cigarettes mostly, Red Bull. Secondly, go between a pack of spirits. I've had over 65,000 spirits and 3,500 Red Bull, and that's just what they call the quote unquote energy drinks. But they're sold right next to the cigarettes. They clean out the tar, they collect the toxins from the additives in the tobacco these days and turn it into urine, sweat, fecal, the Red Bulls, yeah, doctor recommended until you're 21, and then recommends Budweiser, and it's a religious sacrifice.